Speaking of levels, Chelsea fans shared something this morning. I know they got a good win at the weekend, but the supercomputer has predicted that they will come third this season based on the stats from the opening 4 games. LB, can you see Chelsea coming third this season?
No, I can't. No, I think they've got a chance of coming fourth. But as I've said all along, I think they lack a striker. I think they'll draw too many games. They might lose a few. Where if they had a striker, I said this. I've had this argument so many times with Dom. Yeah, if they would have got Osimhen, I would have answered that question yes. I'd have answered that question yes, and that's why I think they should have paid the money.
But he's proud. He's proud they didn't pay him the money.
They're proud that they have a wage structure in place. Great, nice one. It might cost you top 4, and then obviously, building the club from it might cost you trophies. Like for me, yeah, maybe I think they've got a chance to get in top 4. I'd be surprised if they finish third, because that means Liverpool have not finished third. I still think Liverpool will finish third, so they've got a chance of finishing fourth. But I just do not understand for the life of me why they didn't go out there and sign Osimhen. He was there. He was available. Just give him what he wanted. Just give him the money that he wanted. Yeah. He could have got him in. And I think for me, that would have changed everything. I think they would have been third. It would have been a realistic opportunity. Yeah. I just think they would have had a pretty decent chance then. I still think this goalkeeper situation needs sorting out. I know Sanchez had a decent game against Bournemouth, but still don't think he's good enough. They got this new guy in as well that apparently is meant to be better than Sanchez, but I don't know about him. I don't know. I think Chelsea, it's going to be a weird season for them because they've got good players. They've got a few good players in there. Yeah. And I think top 5 is an absolute must with the money that they spent, £1.5 billion. But if they would have signed Osimhen, I would be saying, yeah, they're getting top 4. I would be sitting here now saying, yeah, they're getting top 4. Instead of, I think they might get top 4, but I don't know. I just think I've never seen a club other than Arsenal with Luis Suarez where one player would have guaranteed them something and they didn't do it. It's wild, man. It's wild. Don't get it.
That was 40 million and one that bid, wasn't it?
Yeah, and if they would have paid the proper money and just got him in, they would have won the title.
Facts. Do you know what I think about Chelsea, right? I actually believe if they keep players fit and go with the front 4, which I believe should be Palmer in the 10, Neto at right wing, Sancho now at left wing, and Nkunku up front, I actually think they have got a chance if they keep players fit of going for a Champions League spot. If they play Jackson and they play Mudryk and they get all these guys, they ain't going to do it. I don't think, I'm agree with LB, I don't think their goalkeeper is anywhere near good enough. I know he had a good game this weekend, but I do not think he is good enough. I think they'll try to stick with Fofana and Colwell. If they can form a partnership, they might be able to get a bit of improvement. If they ever play Disasi at the back again, it will be a disaster because he is absolutely awful as a fullback. But I do feel like, personally, I still think Liverpool and Villa are finishing above them. I do. And I've put Newcastle as the wild card to finish above them. At the moment, they're third. And everyone laughed when I said that. But I think they'll be okay. So with one game a week. So I do kind of think Chelsea is still floating around 6th, if I'm honest. But good surprise. Good surprise. At least Maresca has actually looked to sift through what he wants there now. And it isn't just 30 players trying to play at 11 sometimes. It looks like he actually does have a clue about who he likes and who he wants to put in that 11, it seems, anyway. So, yeah, man. And their bench is actually pretty decent when they can bring on some of the players they have brought on. I thought Sancho, by the way, was superb. I've got to say that. I thought he changed the game, man. I thought he was fantastic, mate. So, yeah, man, maybe they can go for top 4 challenge if they keep players fit. And I think that front 4 has to start now. I think Nkunku's a better finisher. This Jackson guy is absolutely woeful in front of goal. It's embarrassing. For me, Sancho has to play on the left now and Neto on the right. I don't think Neto looked that good on the left, if I'm honest, but he is a baller on the right. And I think Palmer, it's funny, I'll be interested in Palmer because everyone told me he's better than Saka and all this kind of stuff. Now that he's getting kicked, don't look as good, does he? Now that he's getting double teamed and double marked, don't look as good, does he?
Who's that? Sorry, who?
Palmer. He's he's now having the game like Saka's had for the last 3 years. Double team, kicked all the time. Oh, they're kicking him, they're double marking him. Oh, he's better than Saka.
You couldn't help bringing that up, could you? You couldn't help bringing it up, man. You guys are crazy. Nah. Listen, I like I say, I think Chelsea will finish anywhere between 4th and 6th. Is where I think they'll finish now. But like I say, if they signed Osimhen, they would have finished top 4 in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Look, the supercomputer thing, I saw Simon Phillips share it, and it made me giggle, and I thought that would just be a kind of intro into the conversation. But yeah, look, the game on Saturday was so interesting. Bournemouth are a difficult team to go away and play against, and there wasn't very many clear-cut chances for Bournemouth, barring a penalty. But they had opportunities, which I think they really wasted. And I think I got to about 60, 70 minutes in the game, and I tweeted, this is going to be a smash and grab 1-0 for Chelsea. It was just written all over that game, and it happened. And you're right, Sancho came on and did really, really well in terms of the attacking side of things. What I would say is that they were winning 94th minute. There was a counter that was launched by Bournemouth, and Sancho isn't the kind of player that is going to consistently get back and help out defensively. And I think they need to, and that's why I don't know about top four in this first season with Maresca and these players. The good thing is they're picking up some good wins, and that's going to build confidence in the team. But it's going to take time for Maresca and this squad to kind of be gelled together in terms of who do we play and when. You know, what team's home, what team's away, who we need when we're 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, who's the best for us in those regard. And the biggest weakness in the team at the minute is when they're trying to play out from the back, and it's the mistakes they make defensively, which are crazy. Where when you look at Villa, I know they went 2-0 down the other day, but came back. When you look at Villa, and I know that Liverpool lost, but I need to see more evidence that Liverpool are going to be like that on a more regular basis. They both just look sturdier than Chelsea do. And just like winning a league title, the better you are defensively, the fewer opportunities you leak, generally the better you perform when you've got a decent attack. And all of those teams have got pretty good attacks. And that's what's really exciting. If you look at the teams in the kind of top four race, which Chelsea are in, the attacks are just littered full of skill and speed and goals across the board, that is. But I just look at Villa with Watkins and Duran's turning into a goal scorer. Although he's sort of a scorer of great goals, maybe not loads of goals, but if you've got two strikers, that if they both continue like this, again, they're making the top four. I don't think if you have two strikers that keep scoring at that level, it's almost impossible to not make it when you're also as defensively sound as Villa are a lot of the time. Liverpool are still going to make the top four, in my opinion. So you're basically fighting over one place. So at the moment, I can't see Chelsea coming third unless defensively
Villa's
they have.
bench, by the way, boys, as well. Villa's bench is really impressive, by the way.
They look good. They look. Yeah. The only thing I'd say about Villa, the only thing I would throw in is how are they going to cope? This wait and Champions League football can change. You know, the rotation that comes in. Having said that, I know they're resting a few players, but Chelsea have got the Conference League as well. You know, it's maybe Newcastle that are the outlier in this because they've only got...
Newcastle should get top four, really. If we're being honest with you, like, I think if Newcastle don't get top four, I think that idea will be sat, mate. Because, like, the team that they've got with no European football, like, they've not really got any excuses, man. Like, they've really not. Look at some of the players they've got in that team. They're good players. So, you know, for Chelsea to get in the top four, Liverpool have to drop out, right? Which could happen, but still don't think it will happen. Newcastle are not going to be there, in which case I think Eddie Howe's job's going to be under pressure, or City got to get relegated, on the 115. That's the only way. That's the only way for me. But this is why I get a bit frustrated with Chelsea, and I'm frustrated with Don and some other Chelsea fans, because I think it was that signing away. That signing away from being basically secured, and you've now left it up to the gods, man, which I know you love, Terry. The football gods.
Up to the footy gods. But what about the team out of the top six that had the best result of the weekend? 3 goals, clean sheet. No, I am messing. Like, do you know what? Man United's game was interesting because, again, we're in the conversation for the top 4, I think. Although I've predicted us to finish about 8th after the Liverpool game. But that game was so weird for us. And I'm looking for, I know we're playing Barnsley tonight. It's not obviously an acid test or anything, but first 35 minutes, I'm looking at it thinking he's getting sacked tonight. We score, good penalty save. We score.
Yeah.
And it was probably the most dominant. And I don't care that it's Southampton. And the reason I keep saying this is last season, home and away against the Burnleys, the Sheffield Uniteds, they actually peppered us and dominated us possession-wise. It was probably the best I've seen us in terms of dominating a game. We didn't concede an attempt on goal. Not even a pot shot from 30 yards for the next 70-odd minutes of the game. That's ridiculously unheard of in the last 18 months as a Man United fan. And I've seen a lot of people doing comps and go, we can do it. And this is what annoys me a little bit, is we can do it, especially against the teams that are inferior in terms of overall quality of player. My biggest frustration is do it more then. Do this against Crystal Palace away. Do this when we play Spurs at home, and then maybe more, I think they'll get a lot more love and maybe, people predicting them to maybe make it into the top 4, because when Man United do some good things, we look good. The problem is the level of inconsistency within a football match. It's more of a message to Man United fans. We're just not ready yet to be in it, to make the top 4. When I look at all the others that are fighting out for it, there's just too many inconsistencies right now.
No, I mean, you got boxed off the park in that first half, man. It was embarrassing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And if they could actually shoot, then you could have been 2 or 3-0 down. You know what I mean? But I got to give credit to Ten Hag. He chased it up a little bit in that second half, and it stopped that wave after wave of possession and attacks from Southampton. But I agree. I think if you finish 6th this season, that'll be a good season for you.
Yeah, I mean, based on the football so far, yes. I mean, if we're basing on that, it'll still be a disappointing season. Not if we do. As long as it's improved, we'll see. I'm still not convinced. I want to be.
Ten Hag, man. It's Ten Hag for me.
I want to be, but
because it's Ten Hag. I call this Ten Hag a fraud within the first couple of months of seeing this guy. Yeah, the guy's a clown. The guy's an absolute clown.
I agree.
And he should have been fired, mate. That 7-0 defeat was a massive red flag, mate. And then apparently he played the same 11 the game after that. Yeah, what is he doing there? You know what I mean? There's been way too many red flags. Yeah, masked by trophies, trophies is good. But you've got to be a joined up process. Yeah, you've got to win trophies and be progressing in the league. And this guy's gone backwards. The worst ever finish for Man United in the Premier League last year. Yeah, he still gets the job. Because let's be honest, they didn't have the bottle to sack him after they won the FA Cup. Mad. Crazy. And the United fans who sit there and slag off Tuchel, mate, yeah, is when you've got Ten Hag as your manager. That is crazy. That is crazy, mate.
Yeah, a few people in the comments saying, with the amount of money that's been spent, 6 isn't a good season. Again, I think what you're misconstruing here, it's not a good season. But when you look at how we've played in the opening 4 games, based on that quality of football, 6 is a good outcome, is what's being said here. And I think sometimes you've got to understand where people are coming from. It isn't a good season if we continue. But as I say, look, I'm just in that weird space of in my heart of hearts, I don't see the manager turning it around. I don't think he's a good enough coach with this group of players to do it. But I really hope I'm wrong. And yes, people saying it was only Southampton, guaranteed points. Yeah, look, we nearly always beat the smaller teams, but we got outplayed for that first 30 minutes. Was exactly how it was when we played Burnley last year, home and away. Sheffield United, home and away. Luton, home and away. Luton, we were 2-0 up away from home against them in the opening 8 minutes. And then I swear they got it back to 2-2, and then we went on to win 3-2, but it was a struggle. Yep. Or we might have gone 3-0 up and it got back to 3-2. But we struggled. So what we did in that second half is what we need to see more of. And I think more of that, and you will, Man United fans, more of those performances, and you'll see rivals change their minds. You'll see Man United fans change their mind. The media will have the one thing I would say, I don't like all of the media nonsense that comes out, but the one way to shut everybody up is play better, dominate more games, win more football matches. You do get left alone. You really, really do. And listen, I hope we win tonight. How do you boys see Liverpool getting on tonight? First Champions League game in the new format.
Tough, man. Tough. Honestly, I
Milan.
think it's going to be tough. I really do. Is it at Milan as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, man. I can see him dropping points. I can. I think this will be so interesting for me now, how Arne Slot reacts. Can they bounce back from that? It's a disappointing defeat, man, against Forest at home. I did not see that one coming. I don't know about you two boys, but I never saw that. So for me, when I look at it, I think, there's potential for Liverpool to drop points again tonight. So if they do win, it's a great result, and it's a real good bounce back for Ten Hag, man. Because not Ten Hag, for Slot, because that's what's needed, man. That's what's needed.
No, in fact, I think it's a big test for him, because I think at some point in the season, Liverpool are going to go for a real sticky patch. Yeah. And I don't know whether it could be now. They've just lost one game. If they lose again tonight, then maybe you could start to see it, because it's a new manager. Yeah. Obviously, you've got a few players there that are now uncertain futures. It stinks of at some point having a bit of a sticky patch. It's when that comes and happens, like, how can you keep it to like a couple of games, or will it drag on for maybe 4, 5, 6 games? So it's a massive game. They could really do with winning it, obviously, just to sort of bounce back from that Forest match. But yeah, by all I didn't watch the Forest game because City were on at the same time. But by all I seen the goal. Wow, what a goal, by the way. By all accounts, Liverpool were trash. So they need to bounce back, man. They need to bounce back. The good news is it's only match day 1, so it's not too bad if they drop points.
But I don't think it's an issue for dropping points in the Champions League. It's more, as you say, if they get into a little rut, how will the fans react? You know, it isn't Jurgen Klopp there anymore. There isn't the same affinity and love. And, you know, sometimes that can be a difficult situation. So, yeah, if he can pick up a really good away win, you know, one of the most prestigious clubs in Champions League football history, I think, as you say, it's a great way to bounce back and answer those critics. Terry, Aston Villa's turnover is 220 million and Arsenal spend more on players. However, you won't find a single Villa fan claiming their club doesn't show ambition. But you will if suddenly the turnover gets to 300 million, 400 million, 500 million, 600 million, but they're still only spending what they're spending now. And Villa are actually sensible to not overcommit and overspend at this point in case it does go wrong, because then you can leave a huge black hole financially, which was one of the biggest reasons they got relegated in the first place. You've seen Brighton increase their revenue naturally over the last 5-6 years, have some big spike through sales of players, but gradually spent more and more money on individuals and having another good start to a season. You have to do it in a smart way. And unless you've ever run a business, and trust me, I run some businesses now and I still don't quite get it. Cash is king in terms of cash flow, but you can't just spend all the new money that you bring in. You have to hold on to some of it. You have to be mindful. You have to be careful. But you overcommit to so many businesses. And this element is where your club has to be run like a business. If you overcommit and spend too much money too soon, the amount of organizations, businesses, schools, teams that fail because they run out of money is crazy. So they've got to be careful with that.